Okay, now we are online.
Yes,
So I'll start.
yes.
So good evening, ladies and gentlemen, once again to another session of Beyond Education by IDYM Group of Companies. So Beyond Education is an unique knowledge sharing program where we hear from various topics that are never covered or heard as a part of educational syllabus, but we have a definite impact on one's personal life as well as the academics. Beyond Education brings professional experts from different and wide range of subjects who will share their experience about various critical issues and topics that affect everyday lives and lifestyles, which have profound impact on the individual capacity of learning and being in the right education system. In an evolving world, we need to prepare ourselves for constant changes and societal expectation by improving the quality of our work. That is what Beyond Education is. And today we have brought with a huge honor, I would like to say that today we have Lieutenant Colonel Pradeep Karesa. A huge honor, sir, to have you today here. He is an, veteran from an Indian army who took voluntary retirement after 2 decades of services to the nation. He brings he was being from the army background, from an educational corps. He was mainly responsible for officers training. Fabulous. He was posted at the premier training academics of the army. He was consultant within Open University, where he was responsible for getting self-learning materials prepared for distance education courses. He is a TEDx speaker. He is an author, an award-winning, YouTuber also. Wow, so much to learn from you, sir. He has been a topper, consistently in the academic career. He holds a master in mathematics and education. He has written motivational blog, which has been sensible, and he has given the links also, which I'll share later on here in the chat column where people can see. And he has written many books, which few I would like to share because those things are inspirational. And please go and do read those books. The first book he has written was Real Inspiring Stories, and another was The Unsung Heroes, Real Stories to Inspire You. How many books? There are 101 ways of becoming better. Wow. Game Changers, Real Stories to Inspire You. Wow, great. Getaways, a challenging armed forces career. Torchbearer, 101 छोटी बातें बड़े काम की. ये तो मुझे लेना ही पड़ेगा. Feeling great no matter what. This is what we need, I guess. So this list is endless, and he has been, where you can see his videos telecast on Tata Sky, and the videos were being, inspirational videos were there, is still there in YouTube also, and he has started a venture called Garib Ki Gullak Foundation. So, sir, welcome you with a humble welcome to IDYM Beyond Education, sir. I welcome you to
Thank
the
you,
show.
ma'am.
Jai Hind, sir. With a warm welcome, I would like to ask you, sir, आप पहले इसके बारे में बताएं कि ये जो गरीब की गुल्लक फाउंडेशन है, इसके बारे से हाँ इससे शुरुआत करते हैं. तो can you just guide us what is गरीब की गुल्लक?
Yes, very nice. This is a question very close to my heart. In fact, for the last about 3 years, when I observed that when I go for a morning walk from 5:30 to 6:30 in the morning, I used to find the security guards, sometimes the sweepers, and they used to wish good morning करते हैं, बात करते हैं, कभी उनसे हालचाल पूछते हैं. तो कभी कोई कह रहा है कभी बीपी की प्रॉब्लम है, कभी कहता पेट में दर्द है, कोई कहता आंख में प्रॉब्लम है. तो आई यूज्ड टू टेल देम कि जाओ डॉक्टर को दिखा लो और पेटीएम से हम पेमेंट कर देंगे. This is out of sheer kindness. We feel like the maid servant is working in a house, she has a dental problem, any other problem, we just send her to the doctor and we'll make the payment by Paytm. Now, when this news spread in the society workers, it so happened that people started coming ringing the bell of the house, doorbell. and they would say कि डॉक्टर के पास जाना ये प्रॉब्लम है, ठीक है चले जाओ. We used to tell them कि जाके दिखा दो, पेमेंट कर देंगे. And over 3-4 months, we found that every month we are spending 5,000 to 7,000 rupees a month for treatment of these people. So then I put up in the society WhatsApp group. We have about 600 flats in our society here. And I asked people that there are so many people who are helping us and they are needy. They need help in case of any illness. So can we help them collectively? And about 10 odd people gave thumbs up and they said, yes, we'll like to help in this. So in that case, then we started this through Paytm, and those people used to donate money, and we used to keep everything transparent. Whatever money was donated by anyone, that was shown there, and also whatever payment we made to the doctors, hospitals, path labs, we gave screenshots of everything on that WhatsApp group. That was called Garib Ki Gulak. This continued for about a year, and after that, somebody suggested that we should open a bank account instead of taking money in Paytm. And I thought, yes, it makes sense. So when we approached the bank for opening a bank account, they said you need to have this organization registered with the government. Only then we can open a bank account in this name. And that was the time we got it registered on 8th of September 2021. We got the registration of Garib Ki Gulak Foundation as an NGO. It is registered with the central government. Now in this, we are operating in different housing societies. As of now, we have got covered 15 housing societies, and all these people, the maid servants, the working there, electrician, carpenter, guards, the people who clean the cars, people who do the press on the clothes, ironing of clothes, all these people, we are sending them. We have got some hospitals empaneled with us, some kind-hearted doctors who are giving concession to our patients. So that way, we are getting their treatment done, and it's a big satisfaction to find the people being relieved of their pain and illness.
So it's a huge task to think out of the box and kisi ke liye karna. That is also a very important thing, that you are thinking of people who we just pass by. So they are not now ignored. They are being, they have somewhere to come along and they can, take money. It's very thoughtful, sir. Very thoughtful. Very nice, sir. So, having such a versatile profile that you have, would you like to share that how did everything started back then, when you were in school, and especially in your school days? Did you ever thought you will reach to such big heights that you are there today, sir? Did you ever thought that that thought came when you were very small, and how did it started, sir?
In fact, as a child in school, I was more of a bookworm because my father, my parents, they always focused on my studies. And my father, he was from a very middle class background. He was in a government job, and we were not at all the affluent type. But my father had one priority. He put me in English medium school. I belong to Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh, and there he put me in the Christ Church school, which even now is one of the top schools in that city. And I only can imagine how much he must have stressed his finances to send me to school of that nature, of that standard. And he always focused that I should be good in studies. I should be a topper in studies. So every day he would sit down in the evening with me after he came back from office, and whatever homework was given, that he used to help me do it in lower classes. And also the next day's lesson, he would teach beforehand, so that when I go to school the next day, I already knew what the teacher is going to teach. So with that, and as I came to higher classes, I was fortunate to have very good teachers. Those teachers have become extinct now. I cannot find that kind of dedication, that kind of sincerity, which I found in those teachers. So it is because of my parents and my teachers, whatever I have achieved in this field of education or in my entire life as well.
But so do you compare KV teachers are better, or the private school teachers, we compare, because nowadays if we talk about Army, Navy or somebody, they come from KV schools. So they do, have that comparison. KV teachers are the best. So you do agree to that?
Yes, in fact, all three of my children, they have studied in Kendriya Vidyalaya because of my nature of posting in border areas and frequent transfers. My wife herself has been a Kendriya Vidyalaya teacher, and I have myself been being an education officer in the Army Formations Headquarters. I have been a part of the managing committee of certain Kendriya Vidyalayas, and I found that all the teachers in Kendriya Vidyalayas, they are very well trained, they are qualified. Each one of them is B.Ed, a lot of them are M.Ed also, and the methodology of teaching Kendriya Vidyalayas is very much systematic. Everything is taken care of. All the NCERT books, whatever method of teaching it has to be followed, it is standardized. In the private schools, what I find is that they don't follow the NCERT books, most of them. They follow some other publication books. Then they get some other books which students are made to buy, some help books, some workbooks, and all that kind of thing. So there is more of a what you call shosha in private schools. Some of the private schools are doing very well, of course, and they have teachers, I find, are dedicated in all schools. It is a mix. Some of them are dedicated, some of them are not so dedicated. So I don't think we can classify them as per the central school or private school, but good teachers are everywhere. But the breed is decreasing day by day. It's very sad to say. Otherwise, I hold teachers in very high esteem.
That's true, sir. This is what even I personally believe, that the quality of the teachers are getting deteriorated day by day.
Yes.
Yes, because I don't know whether it's a trend going on or what, but it is very deteriorating, and the quality of education that they are providing to the students is not up to the mark. So coming back to you again, how did you, imagine a military life before joining the armed force? And what are some of the few funny things that you remember about adapting the military life, sir?
In fact, you'll be surprised to know that never in my wildest dreams did I imagine that I'll be in the army. All along, I was, mentally prepared to become a teacher. My father, although he was not a teacher by profession, but he's a teacher at heart. My uncle, he was a professor in a college. So somehow I was mentally prepared that I'm going to become a teacher after doing my post-graduation. But my joining the army was an accident, or you can say it is a turn of destiny, because as it was destined, when I was in college, there was a friend of mine who was very keen to join the army. And he used to go for the SSB interview. About twice he went, but he didn't get selected. Although he was very good in sports. And I, for one, I never joined NCC. I never took part in any games, sports, any outdoor activities. I was just a bookworm, concentrating on my books and my studies. And because of that, so I told him I don't want to join the army. He said, no, you must fill the form and just have a experience of going there. Because he used to tell what all tests are being done in the service selection board. So he said they'll give you return fare for going and coming. Then they'll make you stay for 5 days in the SSB. They'll provide you free lodging, boarding. Why don't you go and have an experience? So he insisted so much. He brought the form and he made me fill the form, and we posted the form. After that, I almost forgot about it. After about 3 months, I got an interview call for going to SSB Allahabad. So as I decided I don't want to join the army, I just go and have a experience. So I went there to SSB Allahabad, and that 5 days of testing which they have, it includes psychological tests, group testing, outdoor tests, obstacles, and finally there's an interview. Then there are so many tests involved in between during these 5 days. So when I was doing these obstacles, there are so-called you have to jump somewhere, you have to climb somewhere. So there are some GTOs, the group testing officers. They keep on prompting, this obstacle has got 5 marks, this obstacle has got 10 marks, do this one. So I did the most simplest ones. And wherever I found that there's any chance of getting hurt, I just skipped that, in spite of being told that it carries more marks, because I was never keen to get selected. So having done those 4 days of the test, then finally there is an interview. In that interview, the president of the board, along with all the officers who have conducted these tests, they sit in the interview board, and each candidate is interviewed. So the president of the board, he asked me, why do you want to join the army? So I told him very frankly, he said, I never wanted to join. That friend of mine has told me to fill the form, so I've come here. Then having seen my academic record and everything, and I was thinking that this is the last day and next day I'll be going back. But when they announced the result, my roll number was announced in that. So I was a bit taken aback that when I have not made any effort, how have they selected me? But as luck would have it, I had to wait there for another 12 days for a medical. Those candidates who are selected in the interview, they have to hold on for the medical, and others are returned back to their homes. So in 12 days, each and every medical specialist, from heart specialist to orthopedic surgeon to eye specialist, they do all the medical checkup. And after that, we are sent back. And I was told that if we'll prepare a merit list. And if your name is there, then you will be called for the training. So I went back. After about 2 months, then I got a telegram that I have to go for the training. So that was the time I really didn't know what to do, whether should I join or should I not join, because nobody from my family or relatives has ever been in the army. And here, this is a form which I filled for Army Education Corps, because Army has got many regiments like infantry, artillery, doctors are there, engineers are there. So in our case, it is specifically the form is filled for Army Education Corps because they need postgraduates. And I had done my post-graduation in mathematics. So that was the time when the order came for training. That time I had already joined a government job in Bhopal. So when I got the telegram, I went to the army cantonment. There was a lieutenant colonel of signals. I entered his gate and I told him that I've got this selection letter for joining the army for the training. Should I go or not? He said, oh, come on, this is a class 1 job and you must go. Don't have second thoughts. And you're going to be in the education corps. You'll be giving training to the people. So just go there. So after that, I immediately resigned that government job which I was doing and I sat in the train to Dehradun. That's how I joined the army.
Wonderful, sir. So how inspirational is that? It's like your destiny takes you to the place where you have to go. So,
one thing I would like to add here, ma'am, for the
yes,
viewers who may be seeing this program, afterwards I came to know, and this must be in the minds of so many people, that when I was not showing any interest in the interview, how did I get selected? Isn't it? It must be come to your mind also. Later on, in the later part of service, when I interacted with the senior officers, they said what they're looking for is trainability. Whether a person can run 2 kilometers or 10 kilometers is not so much important. Has he got the trainability? Will he be able to adapt to the training? And most important, will he be able to work in a group? They don't want people who are argumentative. They don't want people who will question everything. They want people who can work in a team. In the army or for that matter, defense forces or any organization, people want to the psychological tests and whatever. They always see these qualities of the person. Then they want people who are straightforward in telling the truth. They don't want people who will tell lies, because there are so many people, students who go there to the service selection board. They are tutored. There are organizations, there are coaching academies which tell them, if they ask you this question, say this. If they ask you, why do you want to join the army? Say, I love my country. I want to die for my country. I am so patriotic. So these kind of answers when people give, they are not selected, because the interviewing officers, they can make out that these people have been tutored. They are not showing their real self. Like in any interview, they want that if the person is showing his real self, he's honest to himself, and he is able to adjust in a group, in a team, he is not argumentative, then they select. Because I can tell you, in my life, I never ran 1 kilometer even. During my college days also, I took part in any game. But when I joined the army, I ran 5 kilometers, I ran 10 kilometers race. And there also, I used to come in the first 10 candidates. Because in the training, they train you so much. In the training, you find that you're not the only one. There are 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 people running. So you feel if they can do it, why can't I do it? There are camps in the training in the Indian Military Academy, because the training, let me tell you, is common for everyone. Whether people are going to infantry, artillery, anywhere, engineers, any officer commissioned in the army, except doctors, all the officers who are commissioned in the army have to undergo training from the Indian Military Academy, Dehradun. This is the most rigorous physical training which one can ever think of. And by God's grace, I completed that training. because it was like this when you know you are into it, there's no way out. You can't leave it, you can't run away from there. So then I thought I better do it then.
So
And I did it
is the training so very vigorous and very
very,
tiring?
very,
It's very
very rigorous.
strict.
Very,
Okay.
very rigorous.
Okay.
It is so rigorous that I used to, curse every single day of the training. It was the most challenging, most difficult part of my life. And I used to always pray to God that keep me safe, because there is no choice that you will not do any test, will not do any obstacle. And I saw people who are breaking their bones in doing these tests. Because unlike in the interview, I could skip, but here there's no question of skipping. Each and every test has to be done. So that is how I think God helped me to come out without even a scratch on my body.
It's wonderful, sir. Seriously wonderful. So, any incident that you remember was very funny, sir, while you were in, that regiment when you were there? Any funny incident that you still remember
In
and it's
fact,
close to your heart?
I can say, remember, it was not funny, but I was posted in the JNK, Kashmir. It was a brigade headquarters on the bang on the Pakistan border. That was initial posting in 1981. I was posted there as a second lieutenant, and that was a brigade on three sides. It was surrounded by Pakistan. It was in a valley, and only one side was India. So the peculiar thing about that location was that in 5 months of the year, it was covered with snow. And this passage for going to India, it was blocked with snow. So during these 5 months, they only used to drop the ration by the aircraft, by the chopper. Whatever dry rations, whatever was no fresh vegetables, no fresh thing was available, it was all packed ration which was dropped. Now, the thing is, during these 5 months, when I found that how will we go if at all somebody has to go out during 5 months? So there is a foot column, what they call a foot column. Foot column means that during the night, all the people who are coming from this brigade headquarters, they have to climb up the mountain. It is called Nastachun Pass, and in common language, it is called Sadhana Pass. It is at height of more than 10,000 feet. So in the freezing snow, it is snow all around. And because the snow melts in the daytime, so we have to move at night. So around 7 o'clock in the evening, all the people line up. In that, the officers, JCUs, NCUs, everyone is there. We all putting on that winter clothing, extreme winter clothing, they call it, because it is not normal clothing. And in that clothing, we have to, with those heavy boots, their snow boots are there. Snow boots are different. The normal boots, we cannot, survive there. So we have to walk the whole night. And that walk is on inclined slopes of the mountain. It is always covered with snow. And it is in the dark. So even if somebody, feels sleepy, he'll topple down and fall in the valley there. It's difficult to trace. So that was the time we have to be very careful. There are a small plateau in between where they serve tea. After about 1 or 2 hours of walking, we can take a bit of rest, take tea, and the next morning only we come to the other side. And then there's a vehicle waiting here. We can take the vehicle and go to Srinagar. So this place was, I think, 12 hours ahead of Srinagar towards the Pakistan border.
Oh. How risky is that? How people seriously, my respect for Indian Army is like increasing day by day, because we are sitting here and you people see how it's extremely not funny, but yes, it's so
challenging.
dangerous.
Yes,
For
it is dangerous.
you're risking your life there for us, so that's still dangerous. So you were into academics, as you said, but still, it's a part of training that you have to go there and fulfill that training and then come back as a posting in academics and train the people there.
Yes, in the army, once you put on uniform, every officer who's commissioned in the army, he has to do all the training. This training is compulsory for each and every one. So that's how we complete the training, and after that, once we are putting on the uniform, then we have to do the training part also, and also the staff duties. When I say training part, I mean I was posted as an instructor in National Defence Academy, where these boys go after class 12. They are selected by the UPSC exam. They have a 3 years training there where they do graduation. So I was posted there. Then I was also posted as an instructor in Indian Military Academy, where I did training myself. I was also posted as a headmaster in Sainik School, Kapurthala. So these are some of the training where we have specifically related to academics, and the others are related to staff duties. Because once we are putting on uniform, we are supposed to do all the duties which any other officer is expected to do.
So you're all-rounder in one word, if I have to say, it's an all-rounder.
Because in the army, they want everybody to be ready for all kinds of duties.
So, do you have any advice for the transiting, who are transiting from the transiting out of the army? So, do you have any advice for those young men, women who are just transiting out from the army? Any piece of advice, sir?
Very good question. In fact, this point came into light recently when we had this Agniveer entry into the army, that after 4 years, a lot of people will be released from the army. And even otherwise also, people from the other ranks, they leave after 15 years service. Most of them, quite a large number of them leave. And even officers, some of them take voluntary retirement. So I always feel one thing, that having served in the defense for a certain amount of time, one always gets to live a disciplined life. In fact, I would say that you're mentally programmed to do things on time, to do things with responsibility, to respect the seniors, to have a kind of a commitment, a dedication. If a task is given, we'll do it on time. That sense of responsibility is there. So all these qualities are very important for a person to join any organization. That is why you find that most of the people from defense, they join some security agency, some of them join some institutions as registrar or some other administrative post. So these people, because of having the discipline inherent in their personality, they're a big asset to any organization.
So, what phase or word will you? It will be never be the same, now and that time that you have served. So, what word or any phase of sentence or anything that it is not the same now, it is not same now and as you have served the army. So any phase or any word that you remember, sir?
I'm not very clear about this question, but whatever.
So any phrase or any word that you will, it is not the same, that it's now and as you have served in the army, it is not the same. So in army, if you have served, you have served a long time in army. So any particular word that you remember, it's not the same now, or it will never for you, that before joining army and after joining the army.
But whatever I can gather from your question, I don't know how much I've understood, but I think one thing which I found in the army while training and even while in the service, that people are very harsh. Sometimes they use very harsh language, especially to the juniors, and at times it's very insulting to get the work done, especially in the training time, what is called ragging. In the colleges and universities, what they have in the residential colleges, that is a KG class ragging, you can say. But in the army, when during the training, what kind of ragging we had to face, that is something like a college level, you can say, higher than that. So it is felt like this, that when they are in the army, and most of the, quite a number of officers, they start using this word, you bloody chap, this bloody civilians. This word bloody is being used very frequently by so many officers. And they think it is an army way of talking to people in a very commanding manner. But I, for one, never use this word, even while being in the army and more so after voluntary retirement from the army. Because I feel everyone deserves a self-respect. Whatever the position, whether he's a watchman or he may be a clerk, after all, he's a human being. And we should respect. And I have seen some officers also, my senior officers, from whom I learned this, that they used to give a lot of respect to the common man, to the civilians also, and their juniors as well. And that is how they earn respect.
That's what, sir, because see, I am married to a person who is, my father-in-law was in army, and he's no more, but he was into the regiment of engineering. So why I ask this, because a particular phrase or word, because every time that word comes, because I am not from army, I'm a civilian.
Yes,
So every time
yes,
that civilian comes, so that is why
yes,
I ask any word or phrase that you remember
yes,
that before joining army or
yes,
after joining, the word
yes.
doesn't make that same sense, because now it is like, for me, I'm a civilian. If something happens, you are a civilian, what will you know? You don't know.
Uh,
So that is why I just brought up this question. So
But I
sir,
feel one thing, Limdir,
yes sir.
because I have a lot of respect for civilians. I'll tell you, when I was posted in the National Defense Academy as an instructor, in the setup, I wonder if you have seen National Defense Academy in Pune, they have a setup like this, that we from the Army Education Corps, I was in the Department of Mathematics. They have a department subject-wise, since we are teaching subjects. So that department had about 20 instructors. Out of 20, 15 were civilians, and only 5 were from the defense, like 2 from the army, 1 from navy, 1 from air force, like that. It's a mixed crowd there. So I found those civilian instructors, I had a lot of respect for them. I had very good relations with them, and I found that they're so much competent in their subjects, so proficient. And when I gave them a lot of respect, they also became very friendly with me. Otherwise, generally people have a feeling, you're civilians, they're civilians, they're good for nothing. But I don't think like that. Civilians have got their own experience, they've got their own personality, and a lot of things which we can learn from civilians, I would say.
So that is why, so this is seriously good that you respect, because you have come from that. So even I used to get bullied when I came to this house, because
Yes.
this is an army house and I am not from army. So there is what the difference was. The civilian word used to come every now
Yes.
and then. So
Yes.
it was little different for us. So sir, is there anything, or especially you missed when you have joined the army, because as a civil life you have left the civil life and you have joined the army? So was there anything that you used to miss a lot when you joined the army, sir?
Yes. I used to miss a lot because I always imagined myself as a teacher. So I always thought that stint which I had in NDA for 3.5 years as an instructor, I thoroughly enjoyed it because I was having the role of a teacher there. Although being in uniform, they call instructor in the army. I used to go to the class, teach on the blackboard, have a chalk with my hand. And that was a real joy which I got in teaching. Even when I was in Sainik school, I had, there were students up to class 12. Sometimes I used to take classes of the students, take sessions with them, talk to them. So I always, you know, take pleasure. It gives me great pleasure to stand as a teacher in front of students. And even now, after taking voluntary retirement, I am taking sessions with students of schools and colleges. And the topic of the session is what they don't teach you in schools and colleges. That is the title where I interact with them. And when I say this, it is like, what are the things? There are so many things which we don't teach in schools and colleges, like how to find a true friend, how to face failure, how to face criticism, how to apologize, how to use the social media, how to avoid procrastination, how to organize yourself properly. So these are some things which I feel are not being, how to have a civic sense, how to be a responsible citizen. So these things I have covered in my book, 101 Ways of Becoming Better. In that, there are 101 chapters of this kind. And when I talk to the students of schools and colleges, I talk about these things so that they become better human beings. They become better citizens after passing out from their schools and colleges.
Absolutely fabulous, sir, because this is what it is needed in today's generation, but this is what it is missing
Yes.
to understand themselves. Sir, it is said that once you join army, you learn about yourself. Is this phrase true? That you learn more about yourself, you learn more about your own capabilities and qualities once you join army. Is that true, sir?
Yes, very true. It's very true. Because as I told you, I never even ran 1 kilometer before I joined the army. But after having joined the army, I knew that I had the potential, but it was never realized. I never stretched myself to that limit. And because it was compulsory there that I have to do it. I have to run 5 kilometers. I have run 10 kilometers. And that running is not simply in shorts and shoes. That running of 5 kilometers, it has to be in proper full combat dress. There is a pack on your back. There are 2 packs here. There's a water bottle. There's a rifle on the shoulders. And with that, we have to run 5 kilometers. And this running is timed. It is a test. It is not that you run your time like 10 minutes, 9 minutes, the time, that is a reading, excellent. Then another 2 minutes, that is category is good. Then another 2 minutes, it is satisfactory. Then after that is fail. So those people who, take more than that time, they are declared as fail. And they have to do their test again. And this is called BPET, Battle Proficiency and Efficiency Test. This test we are doing in the training, and even after being commissioned, every year we have to pass these tests. As officers, till the age of 45 years, it is laid down, if the officer is in good health, unless somebody has got a medical problem, then the doctor will exempt. Otherwise, till the age of 45 years, each and every officer, each and every Jawan, each and every NCO, and it is all common for everyone. It is not separate that officers will have some relaxation and Jawans will run differently. So that running, I have been doing it throughout my service of 20 years. And I've been always doing it in excellent grading by God's grace.
Fabulous. Seriously, it's an inspiration for all of us who needs to push ourselves, because because you are trained, and as you said, they train your mind, and if you are
Yes.
mentally trained, it is impossible. So do you suggest the current generation, and according to you, is it correct that every child should join army? What is your views on that?
In fact, I take it like this, that army or defense is a good career. It's a respectable career, and it gives a lot of development of potential, like I said, stretching your limits, knowing yourself, what you can do, what all you can, and it programs your mind in disciplined manner. It brings out so many qualities which other professions do not bring out, because this profession of in the defense services is unique in its own kind. First of all, we are serving the nation, and that feeling brings you a great respect among your fellow citizens. So far as those people who have got a inclination to join the army. Yes, ma'am. You said something?
No, please.
So I said those who have got an inclination to join the army, they must join by all means. But like I said, we always should see the aptitude of the child.
No, please continue.
What is his aptitude? Whether he wants to become a scientist, or he wants to become a sportsman, or he wants to become an animation artist, or you want to become a musician. So as parents, we should see the aptitude of the child. These days, in even all these good schools, they have counselors, they have people to find out what is the aptitude of the child, and accordingly, the child should be channelized into that. Should be guided and prepared for that particular profession.
Sir, coming to this education, because you are also from the education background, so now government has launched new NEP policy. So what are your views on new NEP policies? Is there something particular that you like the most, and is there something that you would like to bring a change into NEP policy, sir?
In fact, see, this education policy keeps on being revised from time to time by the government, and they have their various means of interacting with the students, with the teachers, with the researchers. So what happens whenever education policy is launched, it has got various aspects, like how the personality of the child is being developed, what are the competencies which are being developed, what are the various subjects which are being taught, what are the co-curricular activities being done, what kind of exposure is being given to the children. So seeing all that, and also at the national education policy level, they also see what is the employability in the country. What kind of people do we need? Do we need more engineers? Do we need more doctors? Do we need more skilled people? Nowadays, there's a lot of stress on skill development because of the unemployment problem in the country. It is felt that it is not only people who are having high degrees. We don't need people who have got so many high degrees. Those who are really interested in going for higher education, like post-graduation or doctorate level, they should go. But there are a lot of other people who are not interested in going for higher education, but they can learn very good skills. And these are the skills which are required to get an employment. They can get a job. These are so many, avenues are there. Repairing, mobile repairing. These mobiles have become so common these days. Everyone is having 2-3 mobiles and so many gadgets. Like this animation industry, this has come up so well. Hospitality industry has come up in a big way. So all these areas are there where these people are required to develop certain skills, where they can marketing, such a big field is there. So many online products are there, so many offline products are there, and so many things where marketing is required to be done, selling is to be done. So the overall purpose of education is not only to train highly educated people, but also we need to develop the skills. That's why we are having more stress on the skill development also.
Thank you. And sir, is there anything as a guide or advice to the teachers? And the next question is there anything that you would advise, especially to the students, teenagers? Because if we talk about schools, they have a lot of depression because of the parents and the exams or the peer pressure, you can say, or the pressure coming from the home or the school. So they are into under pressure and they are not able to channelize it properly or speak, and they don't feel like speaking to others. And in recent newspapers also, you have seen news also, they are committing suicide. So that is not a solution. So what kind of advice would you give first to the teachers and to the students?
Yes, very good question, ma'am. In fact, for teachers, I would only say one thing: don't take it as a profession, don't take it as a job. It's a mission. If you take it as a mission, teachers are in the process and mission of nation building. If you feel what an important job a teacher is doing, they are preparing future leaders, future sportsmen, future scientists, future politicians, future presidents, and all kinds of big, personalities. So if the teacher restricts himself or herself only to doing a job, that has been given a job to take a particular class, teach a particular subject, a particular lesson, then that is not what is, it has got a very big canvas. And the teacher should not feel that they have got a limitation only to teach that particular subject. They should feel for every student, whether the student is from what kind of background, what kind of problem the student is facing, they should be able to feel the pulse of the student. Like if there's a student who's having a health problem, some student is having a, mother is not well, some student is having a problem, father is having some financial problem. So they may not be attentive in the class, they may not be doing so well. So the teacher has to look into each and every student. What is their mental state? What are the limitations? Not just give them punishment, not done their homework, simple thing, give punishment. No, they should try to find out what is the reason. And there have been teachers who have this personal touch and they have greatest regard from the students. They are remembered, and even there are great personalities who go and meet their school teachers with a lot of respect, they touch their feet. That's what I feel. So teachers should always feel that they are in the process of nation building. And whatever salaries they're getting, that is not of any consideration. It should be that they are doing as a mission. The more they involve themselves with the students, as much as possible, devote time, especially for the weak students. If they're weak, why are they weak? What can we do to help them? Can we take some extra, give them some extra help, give them some extra coaching, try to understand that. And the money should not come in between. That if we are giving them some tuition, it will be like a private tuition. So everybody may not be able to afford that. That is one. Secondly, for teachers, they should think beyond the subject which they are teaching. They should think of making them good individuals. They should try to pass on some values to them. They should tell them some good stories. Encourage the students to read books beyond their prescribed syllabus. They should encourage them to go to the library. They should encourage them to see good videos on YouTube of great leaders, great scientists, and great people, how they became great. They should try to inculcate in them the interest. Like suppose there is a book in the library. When I have gone to various schools and colleges, I find that hardly the students are visiting the library. Their reading habit is dying down. They're not reading. So here, I always tell the teachers can play a good, big role. They go to a library, they read a book, and then if they describe in the class that this is a new book which has come in the library, or this is a particular book which is very interesting, share some words about them, speak for 5-10 minutes, then the students' curiosity will be aroused and they will go and read that book. They will get the book issued and read it. So there are so many things. And for the students, I would say that there are certain things which especially teenagers have to keep in mind. First of all, they should learn to respect their teachers and parents. These days, there are so many series coming, so many TV shows are being shown where there is utter disrespect for the elders. And they're all showing vulgarity, they are showing obscenity, abusive language, all these, so many Hotstar, Netflix, and whatnot. I feel that as parents, we should keep the children away from these things because the influence of these is spoiling the children. And I've seen children who are even teenagers or college students who are watching the serials for a long time. They are using abusive language in every third sentence, which is not at all good. So they should keep away from these things. And only if they respect their parents, respect their teachers, can they learn from them. And another most important thing is that character is most important for everyone, whether it's a college student or a school student, anyone. In our country, a person, if he is having some loose character or if he is having any problem like this, then his whole career is finished. There are politicians, there are presidents, and there are so many great godmen, so-called, they have gone to jail. So people should realize one thing, that character is most important. And the age-old saying, as they say, if money is lost, something is lost. If money is lost, nothing is lost. Sorry. If health is lost, something is lost. But if character is lost, everything is lost. So it is the character which is most important, whether it is a boy or a girl. For teenagers, that is why choose your friends properly. Another thing is develop the habit of reading as much as you can outside your prescribed syllabus. And also utilize your time on the social media. Don't use the internet because there are so many things which are not good on the internet. There are so many things which are good. So it is the students and the teachers and the parents who can guide the students. So they should guide them what to see, what not to see. So if they can, it is like an ocean. And as a rule, people are attracted more to the bad things, not to the good things. So the teenagers, say from 6 to 16 years, the student, they are the ones, the parents and the teachers should constantly keep on monitoring them, guiding them, so that they are on the right path. So they should develop the civic sense that after all, they should know values of compassion, kindness among them, because they are not taught in schools. Our Garib Ki Gullak Foundation, that NGO which we have started, we are registered with the central government and we are also entitled to have interns with us. Interns mean the school or college students. They come and join us for 3 months, 6 months, whatever time. We involve them in the social work, and after that, we can give them a certificate which is registered by the government. That certificate has got weightage in admission to foreign colleges and universities, where social work component is very important. And apart from that, they will also develop these values of kindness, compassion. When they work along with the poor people, when they can feel their pain and they can develop empathy for them, that as a human being, if we also see what is happening in society, can we do something to help the underprivileged people? So these feelings of kindness, compassion are most important in the youth.
Sir, time has passed so fast, but before I end up, I would like to ask one last question, sir.
Yes.
You are having a huge amount of knowledge and a variety of experience and a versatile profile. How do you keep yourself so grounded? What's the secret?
Actually, I believe in spiritualism. And I always am grateful to God every single day when I get up. The first thing is I express gratitude to God that yes, today you have given me a new day. Before I go to sleep, I always thank God for keeping me safe throughout the whole day, for showing me the way. And whenever I have faced so many challenges in life, I always submit it to God. When I could not find a solution to the problem, I submit it to God. And God has worked miracles in my life. I have made a list, a copy, in which I have listed out date-wise. These are the miracles which happened. And when I tell people, they are simply amazed. So it is a belief in God, the faith in God, which has helped me to sail through all these years.
It is a huge honor, sir, and it was really wonderful. And I didn't knew that how the time has passed, and I have, learned so much. And I believe that many of the students, especially the teachers, the educators, have learned a lot from you today. So you are, it's not for saying, I'm seriously saying you are seriously an inspiration for many who are watching, and especially for me. I'm really honored to have you on the show today. And because coming from a civil background to an army background and being so humble, so grounded, and so polite when we are talking. So it's a all different things that have come together, and it is a pleasure to have you on board, sir, today, to learn so much about your experience, about your knowledge. And definitely I would request you to put your books through the messages where we can share, and many of the people can read your books as an inspiration. One thing between you and Dr. Kalam, which is very common, because I got one chance to meet him in Bangalore. So where he was giving lecture, and I was like, how do you have just traveled and you are just giving lecture? This is what we as a school, all school principals were invited to see his lecture. So he told that I'm a teacher first. And this is what I have heard from you. You also said that I'm a teacher first. So those things are very inspirational. So that is why I asked, being humble, being kind, being spiritual, that is what it is needed. So again, sir, thank you so much from IDYM Group of Companies and me, Meenakshi, for accepting and coming and enlightening us and guiding us so much today. Thank you so much, sir.
Let me thank you. A big thank you to IDYM Group of Companies, Mr. Ravi Kumar, and you, ma'am. You have done an amazing job. As an interview, I found that you have done such a professional manner. You conducted this, and I have learned a lot from you during this conversation. I learn from everyone whom I meet. Whoever I meet, whom I talk, is always a learning for me. And I become more richer in my experience, in my uh, personality. I learn so many things every single day. And I'm grateful to God for giving me this opportunity. And I'm so thankful to you for sparing your time to talk to me on this show.
We are thankful that you have accepted our invitation and you have taken time from your busy schedule and, enlightened us with so rich knowledge, so much of academics and so many things which we don't learn. That is what, sir, we have kept beyond education, because these things are not taught in school. I, coming from a school background, we don't teach these small things and which are needed in school life, in our own life. Forget about the students, I'm talking about myself. This is what I need. So what, there are so many things I have learned from when I was writing also on side by side. This is what it is needed for me also as an inspiration to, as you said, write down what has happened and what is good. So I am going to do that from today. So yes, I used to do, but I'll just make sure that I make it as a habit. So thank you so much, sir, for coming and inspiring many people out there, including me. Thank you so much, sir, for coming today. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Dr. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir. Thank you, sir.
Namaste.